Good morning, Patrick here from Complete Health. I just wanted to share something that really exciting for me that I've just learned in the last couple of days. And this is something that I've always disregarded as a way for me to learn. Now, I've become a huge bookworm since I've finished university. I never, when I was at the time in school, when I was at the time in college, when I was at the time in university, did I feel like I ever wanted to read? I never wanted to read. The reason why I read at university is because I physically had to read in order to cope with the syllabus. So throughout the whole of my life, I've been adverse to the idea of reading. However, since I finished university, I've basically fallen in love with the concept of reading because it naturally takes me in the progression and direction of what I need to do in order to progress in my profession. And then the more I read or the more books that I start to consume, the further I seem to get in the growth of me personally, but also our clinic and the results I get with my clients. However, what has happened is I've hit a barrier where as a result of growing so much in the clinic, I haven't got the time anymore. And so I've lost that ability to read. And I've just discovered Audible. Now, this has been probably one of the biggest discoveries probably for me this year, because now, where I've now struggled, and I set myself the target of reading a book every month for the whole of the year. And this month has been the first month of the year where I've been really struggling to complete the book that I've wanted to read. And as a result, what I've done is just picked up Audible. So I've adapted to my busy environment, and now I can consume a book each week simply by sticking it for 15 minutes on in the morning, 15 minutes on in the evening, to and from work on my daily commutes. And I'm now managing to get through a book a week at the moment. Getting through a book a week at the moment. But this just taught me something. It taught me a very valuable lesson. So whenever I look at these things in my life and I go, oh, I really should have done this earlier, it teaches me a valuable lesson. And it's one of those things that within my work, I see all the time, because I'm trying to teach patients how they can actually change and adapt to the present times. You know, a lot of people have lost their ability to go to the gym. People have lost their ability to go and mix and socialize with friends. People have lost a lot of their normal daily activities. And how is this actually starting to affect them? And we can start to see both positive and negative adaptations take place. But for me, this is an example of a way that I can utilize certain facilities to have a positive adaptation. So when people tell me they haven't got time for X, they haven't got time for Y, I'm always like, well, we've all got time because we've all got the same 24 hours in a day. But what can you do, or what system can you put in place that will allow you to adapt and be able to do that thing? Now, interesting enough, like I say, I was struggling and I was coming up with the excuses why I wasn't reading enough books. However, what I've just discovered is I can still get through the information, but I don't necessarily have to sit down for 4 hours and read the book, because that's roughly how long you'll need to donate for most 200 and 250 page books. It'll be somewhere between 4 to 5, sometimes 6 hours, depending on the length of the book. And finding 6 hours a week to sit down and actively read a book can be quite a long time. However, sticking 6 hours of audio on throughout the week whilst you're doing other things can drastically reduce that workload. Now, interestingly enough, there's a gentleman that writes a book. His name is Rob Moore, and it's called Time Leverage. And he talks about these kinds of things that, say, for example, you're already going for daily exercise. You might be going for a run. You might be going for a long walk. You might go to the gym and sit on the spin bike. Now, why can't you then utilize that time to then stick something on in Audible, which is what I'm now going to do, is that every time I'm now going to go for a run, I'm going to have Audible on, and as a result, I'm going to start listening to books. So again, I can make the most of the time that I've got when I'm going out for my runs. I can make most of the time when I'm spending in the kitchen cooking my meals. I can spend the most out of my time so I can learn at the same time as doing something else. And Rob Moore, he called his book Time Leverage. How do we leverage time? Because we all have the same amount of time in the day, but how can we create a benefit in those times? And I had another book, a client that I recommended a book to, And this is the reason why it kind of spurred it on to me. She came in the book that I recommended. She goes, I'm never going to read it. However, what I have done is I've downloaded it on Audible, and I'm already halfway through the book, despite the fact that she has 3 kids. She can't get through the book by sitting down and reading it, but she's found a way to adapt by downloading Audible. So maybe there is something in your life that you need to adapt for your lifestyle. Like I say, for me, I've lost a lot of my time. The busier the clinic has got, this clinic has required a lot more of my time, and as a result, I've then lost areas in other areas of my life, and I didn't want to give this up. So like I say, I found an adaptation. Audible is going to be my new best friend. And hopefully, fingers crossed, I know in my new car that's just about to come on Friday, I should have Bluetooth connectivity. So it should just literally be as simple as jumping in the car and pressing the play button, and then I should be able to listen to these books to and from on the way to work. Guys, if you need any advice, maybe you need some advice on how to adapt or make the most of your time or leverage time in order to improve your health. So just leave us a message if that's something that you need. I'm always here to try and listen and help and answer your concerns as quickly as possible. Until tomorrow, Patrick here from Complete Health. I'll speak to you guys again soon.